My name is Wolfram Ortner, and I welcome you to Inside World Spirits. For today's topic, gin wood or gin aged in wooden barrels, I have invited an expert from Styria, and I welcome Wolfgang Thomann, who has been producing excellent gins for a very long time. Wolfgang, hello. It's great to have you with us. Thank you for the invitation. I have seen that you have been distilling for 25 years, but I can't imagine that you have been distilling gin for 25 years.
Nettles for about 5 years, but 25 years ago I bought a small farm, and there was a small distillery included, which we then activated, and I simply started producing spirits under tax exemption, which were grown on our land.
But did you somehow experience a moment of inspiration 5 years ago? Or do you want to be ahead of the gin era, ahead of the gin trend?
Or did you already jump on the bandwagon? It was pure coincidence. My children were at the age where they were starting to drink alcohol, and gin was just becoming popular. And they said, "Dad, let's make a gin." That was, so to speak, the beginning.
Yes, it's a great story when children are educated sensorially with such top products right from the start. What was actually your philosophy for the gin?
I once tried to be straightforward and crisp, both in design and content. That was the most important thing to me. So, no extravagant things. A lot about elder, because that corresponds to my personal taste.
Actually, you should wear the pants. My son loves design and always teases me about your bottle design, about your name Aeijst and everything. With us, everything is a bit different. With you, it's all very puristic. How did you come up with the crisp name Aeijst?
It was a schoolmate of my children who studied design, and she was so kind to take on our project. I just wanted to have a name that is down to earth on one hand, and on the other hand, you never know where the journey goes, so it could meet international standards. And that was her suggestion, her first suggestion.
But I mean, the design is really top-notch. I mean, you can always argue about design, but the name Aeijst,
it refers to nothing more and nothing less than the branches in South Styrian. And since all our products or ingredients for the gin are branches or roots, or grow on branches, it was a complete coherent thing for me.
Nice concept. A beautiful story. Let's talk about your latest product, Gin Reserva, or the wood-aged gin. Why do you like that?
I have always been a fan of wood-aged spirits, whether it's plum, old plum, or something like that. And we started, right at the very beginning, to put gin into the wooden barrel. At the very beginning, during our very first public appearance, Mr. Choup-Usand, the head of Tonnellerie Raymond from France, came by, hosted the gin, and said he had a barrel for it, a suitable wood from the Vosges, a Vosges rich wood. He said it is beautifully mineral and it will complement our gin perfectly. I didn't hesitate long and ordered a barrel, and since then we put it in a new wooden barrel, every year, single barrel, yes. And then I aged it further for another year in a used rum barrel from Tres Hombres. That's a renowned Styrian Dutch group. It imports rum from the Caribbean.
An exciting part of Inside World Spirit is the botanicals. What are botanicals? Simply explained, dried herbs and spices for their healing effects, which can naturally be perfectly used for spirits and also in the kitchen. And I am lucky to have a long-time acquaintance, Patrick Altermatt from Switzerland, who is very closely associated with the World Spirits Award through the Academy for this project, which I am fortunate to have him on board. Patrick, it's great to have you here. It's nice that you will be filming many episodes with me. Patrick, you are a distiller, and of course, you are always dealing with this subject.
Yes, Wolfram, thank you for the invitation. I'm happy to be here. I deal with it on various levels, professionally as a distiller, as a side job, particularly for bitters, gin, and for flavoring.
We have a herbal traffic light, which means we will naturally check all the botanicals that you will explain to see if they are suitable for bitter elixirs, gin, or absinthe. I would say, let's start right away with the first herb that you have brought us.
Exactly, I brought fennel. We don't use the herb, but primarily the fennel seed, the 2001. I have the seed here. The plant is still very young, it is just starting. Then it will sprout, later form an umbel. An umbel, like anise, like dill, like cumin, which is recognizable by its shape. And the seeds that we obtain from it are needed for further processing.
I saw in some documentary that it is quite interesting. Believe that wild fennel is also cultivated with Beaumont, and the fresh roots are used in the market. That means wild fennel is very sought after. What I would also be interested in is that we are at 1000 metro, and I think it is winter hardy. Can I plant it there?
You can plant it. We have had very mild winters in recent years, which means it survives. We do not know how it will continue, whether it will get warmer. Generally, the plant itself comes from the Near East, so from warmer regions. But it was introduced very early, already in the Middle Ages, and was cultivated in the gardens of monasteries, which means it is almost native to us.
What is actually the active ingredient and the positive health effect?
Yes, the active ingredient, tasting sweet and nice, is mainly anethol. This is known from anise, which makes up over 80% of the oils, the active ingredients.
When it is diluted like that, it becomes cloudy. That is
exactly the effect that is desired on one hand. In some cases, for example, this is desired. Otherwise, as distillers, we don't like it when there are cloudiness in the distillate.
If one were to say now, let's look at the herb traffic light. For what is the Wilfendel actually suitable? Is it suitable for pitta?
Yes, most botanicals are certainly suitable for gin. Today I have every variation of gin. There are gins with 3 botanicals, and there are gins with over 60 botanicals. In most it is also present. Certainly it is also suitable for absinthe. I could also use it as an elixir. The plants, in terms of quality, the lighter and greener they are, the better, the more effective, the higher the quality. Hildegard of Bingen, to return to the elixir, also used it as an elixir, primarily for eye ailments. It's fascinating how well this is proven today.
In any case, one must believe in it.
One must believe in it.
But I believe that wild fennel, if we go back to the herb traffic light, is also very well suited for bitter products, because it is practically the counterpart of sweetness to bitterness. That's why I believe that the herb traffic light lights up fully with all 4 options. That wild fennel is actually an all-rounder, suitable for everything.
You can say that, yes.
When I look at the board like this, Yusen, what did you bring?
This is a delicious Italian salami with fennel seeds. You can see them cut in extremely small pieces. This is a specialty from Piedmont, and it also shows that a lot is cooked with fennel in Italy. These specialties, as you mentioned earlier, are common there, are also strongly promoted and have a tradition.
Wolfgang, now we are getting a lovely guest. I'm very excited.
Hello there.
Hello, Adriana. Nice to have you with us today. Thank you for the invitation. We have known each other for a while. Why?
Yes, we have a small restaurant, and that's how we actually have all their contact with each other.
I can tell you, I really enjoy being up there. They make perfect meat. Highly recommended. But Diana is here today, not all to create the menu for us, but she has a few questions.
Exactly. What has always interested me is whether the wood storage does not destroy the aroma.
In my view, it does not destroy it. Rather, it enhances it and changes it naturally. So, on one hand, with the new wood, we have naturally incorporated the vanilla and smoky notes into the rails of 2001. We then aged it for another year in a used rum barrel, and that's how we got this spicy note. So now, the herbal notes from the gin are complemented by aromatic and smoky notes from the new barrel, as well as those from the used rum barrel. I think it's a very rounded thing.
And is it actually meant to be drunk neat? Or rather for mixing?
It was originally intended to be drunk neat, so in the same league as all other spirits. This is now a good celebration or of course a whiskey that one might smoke a cigar with. But this year I was at the wine fair in Düsseldorf, where I have always had the opportunity to present my products for years. And there was a group of Italians who told me that it goes very well with a strong vermouth. So they suggested the Formula Antica, one of the most famous vermouths from Italy, to create a very special new martini.
Since you are just talking about vermouth, I believe the next trend will be vermouth. I think it is experiencing a revival, but of course, let's stick to gin wood for now. I would say that G wood is really a conceptual product, right? Because it's a symbiosis, a fusion of gin and wood. Before we overanalyze the products, let's rather dissect them sensorially. I would say a gin wood should have a perfect gin base. I would be interested to know, do you use a London dry gin as the base?
Our classic London dry gin, of course higher alcohol content, but otherwise it is completely the same.
It's a perfect concept because normally gin or distilled gin is used, which certainly does not have the qualitative base. How is your wood barrel aging? The gin, let's try it once, let's smell it, and you please describe it yourself. A gin. Wow, that's juniper, citrus notes, incredible.
As you say, the juniper is still prominent, which makes me very happy. But then closely followed, the aging aromas from the new wood barrel first come through in the nose. And as soon as it hits the palate, the notes from the used rum barrel come in. These beautiful spice notes. The barrel has aged rum for 20 years, and we have let the gin mature for another 1.5 years.
Did you try that, Adriana? Use new spices, the French wash. You have completely in the sequence of aromas the wash, the fresh, hard, dry wood, and then the rum wood that caresses. It's incredible. What percentage does it have? 48. It certainly has endless power, aromatic. It's a perfect explosion in the room. Incredible. So, it's always the case when tasting. Products are usually spat out, but if they are perfect, you just need to take a quick sip. Very briefly, because it lingers anyway, so we don't need much. Let's move on to the next product. The next two products come from Germany, from the Clara Hof Distillery in Flensburg, right by the harbor. It's a very distinctive building where Clara Hof Distillery operates, and this is now a gin that has matured in Cro-Magnifer. The volume percentage of this thing is 42%. A very lovely family, chemists, whose big goal has always been to have their own distillery. And for, I believe, 5 or 10 years, Andreas Mikkelsen, that's his name, has been running the distillery together with his wife. It's really a great operation. Let's try the product, Yusan, again. This is a dry gin, which is of course significantly different in aroma than yours.
It is very herbal on the nose, so you would describe it as typical gin. So it is a very nice, very well composed gin, I think, and slight orange notes from Cro-Magnier come through, in my opinion, and that is a perfect combination.
It's a great intersection as well. That means the citrus notes, the orange with the orange peel from Cro-Magnier, of course does not have the wood dominance, which has a bit of air. It's probably not desired to that extent in your case, always a matter of concept. In the aroma, there are quite a lot of herbal green juniper notes. The citrus is a bit in the background, but nonetheless, it stands there as it should.
Exactly. Really very good.
Yes, very nice. Base notes when it comes to citrus, or top notes, excuse me. When it comes to citrus and what the product has for the volume percentage, it has incredibly strong power, it is compact, it is dense, it could perhaps be a bit longer, but otherwise it is an excellent product. And now I have prepared another German product for you. They have a different beautiful design. The company is named like a game, and the special thing about their products is that they use homegrown potatoes as the base alcohol. That means all the products they make, whether it's a dry gin or a sloe gin or whatever, For a gin reserve, the base is always 2001. The potato must of course be pure alcohol. It often has to be distilled, but let's take a look. Sour aromatic is also nice. Remember it as a very compact nose.
3 completely different products, one must say.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? Variety.
Of course, the gin is in the foreground, but the wood aromas are closely followed.
2001, but both together are arranged very compactly.
Very good.
Let's take it in our mouth. See what the taste is like.
Still very crunchy at the back. I like it. I like crunchy, concise things. This is really excellent.
What are you talking about? About a gin garden? We are still on gin. I know that too. No, it is a totally hearty, crunchy product, and as compact as the scent is, so compact is the taste. The wood aroma and the botanical aroma are perfectly combined. And the product also has a lot of power. 49.3 alcohol. A wonderful finale. A wonderful ending. Unfortunately, we are already at the end of our today's episode. I thank both of you for coming to me. It was really fun. It was also fun to taste such products with you. I would also like to sincerely thank you for watching. And it would be nice if you could join us next time when it's again Inside World Spirits with Wolfram Ortner. Thank you. Have a nice week. Cheers. 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 Thanks again. Until next time.